I'm back remote controlling client 1 and I'm running SSMS connected to both of the instances involved with log shipping. The first thing I'm going to do is disable both of the log shipping jobs to make sure they only run when I kick them off. I'll close that and then disable the restore job. Now that both jobs are disabled, I want to take a look at the users, and this is something that you should do well in advance. Don't wait until the last minute to do this. I have a domain account, report user, and a SQL account, test user. I'll script out test user so we can take a look at the properties. It's a database user that's mapped to a SQL login. I'll close this and then collapse these sections to give me some more room. Now take a look at the security in the destination database. I'll script out the properties of test user in this database. And in this case, it is not mapped to a login. This is something I'll have to correct before the database goes live. I'll close this and let's take a look at the server security. The login exists, and if it didn't, I'd need to create it. I'll collapse some of these sections. Back to SQL 1, I'll run spwho2 to see if there are any connections to the source database. There's one, SPID56. That's probably left over from when I checked the login properties. I'll use the kill command to close it. Now if I'm sure there are no connections to the source database, I'll run this alter database command to set it to restricted user mode. I'll refresh the database, and there you can see the status change. To make sure that the destination database is caught up, I'll run the backup job one last time. I'll close the dialog, and then I'll go over to SQL Backup and refresh the connection to look for any files that are being copied over. I want to make sure that I get those last transaction log backup files restored. I'll refresh it a few more times until I see the file disappear from this dialog. And finally it's gone. Now I'll check the share, and there are 2 files waiting to be restored, so I'll go ahead and kick off the restore job. That worked, so I'll close this dialog and I'll check the share again, and the files are gone. That's good. One thing you should do at this point is to run a few counts on critical tables as a sanity check to make sure that the standby database is really caught up. So now I'm finally ready to recover the database, and I'll run this restore command. This restore command is not restoring any files, it's just recovering the database so it will be ready to be used. Now I'll refresh the databases and take a look. It's no longer in standby mode, but it is in restricted user mode. So the next thing I need to think about is that test user. In older versions of SQL Server, you could use the spChangeUsers login command to fix orphan users. But that command is not going to work if you're using one of the more recent versions of SQL Server. Instead, I'll run this alter user command, which will map the test user to the SQL login. And when I'm finally happy with everything, I'll run this alter database command to set the database into multi-user mode. I'll refresh, and the database is ready to go. Of course, there's a lot of work to do when doing a migration. There are many things to think about, and of course, using log shipping makes that cutover go very quickly.